Hello there. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Hi. Oops, I didn't set my game up. My bad. I thought I pressed it earlier, but I didn't. For today's goal, I want to get through at least part 8 of the story. Yes. And the bonus would be getting through the interlude, but we shall see the time. Luckily, tomorrow's the last day of work for the week, so it's not too bad. Oh man, though, I gotta clean my room. Maybe I'll take a day off next week to clean. As in, take a day off of streaming because, oh man. There's a pile of clothes on my bed. I was too lazy to hang it up. But you know it's fine. It's clean. My bed's clean. I washed my bed sheets recently too. So yeah, it's all good. Just a little bit messy. But now to continue. Old conflicts. Boop. Oh, I have to sneeze. I guess I'm allergic to old conflicts. Who would have thought? And you know, I will bring Phantom along, because why not actually? Decisions. I want to bring along Texas. Boop. Anu, hello. We're back here.
Senor, are you alright? Just dreaming. That's why you shouldn't sleep on the sofa.
I feel like I'm being called out. One of my favorite places to sleep in the house that's not my bed is the sofa, the couch. I'll sleep on the living room couch as one do. I think it's nice. I mean, the delivery people probably see me when I'm sleeping there, but it's okay. I'm just asserting my dominance.
Where's the old man? The Don went to the theater. Are you going to?
Liantuzo does not answer, only sinking deeper into the sofa. See, this sofa's comfy. Anu, hello?
Rosati, Giovanna. That's right. Selenia, our original agreement was to ensure the Belons come out on top. But I've changed my mind. As long as you succeed, you don't owe us anything. At that point, you're free to go. This, I promise you, is the Fang of Zaro, Il Signore de Lupi.
From the time she returned to the residence at sunset, to the break of dawn the next day, listening to the falling rain, Texas wiped down her sword while reading the script that was handed to her, La Morte di Texas. The story twists and turns, never straying far from what she's known. She has a faint premonition. But first, she needs to sharpen her sword. Today, it may have to be a bit swifter than usual. Does her sword have a name? Since I know some people name their swords, did Texas name her swords? Tisk. The sun's getting in my eyes, even though it's raining. Lapland, that's how the rain be here too. It'll look sunny outside, but then it's raining. And you're like, but why? Why can't it be cool rain? Prison food's not too bad. You should give it a try.
You're right about that. I'd even give him a few suggestions before. Now get in the car.
Can I sit this one out? Does killing a single Colombian really deserve so much fanfare? Her sword's name is Blueberry and Chocolate. Oh! That is adorable! Wow. Such a cute name.
The Don says Selenia's gonna be there too.
Oh? What's the plan?
She'll pretend to be an actress, and once the performance starts, you'll improvise the rest.
So what about my costume?
What the Don meant was, you wait in the audience and play along.
Oh, right. What an insensitive old jerk. So, where's he gonna be? He's not trying to find a nice place to watch the show all by himself, is he?
The Don has other business. He's got a meeting.
A meeting?
Yeah, with a car wash worker.
Mr. Car Wash Worker, the thing that I'm gonna mainly remember you for is your favorite theater, my dude. It'll haunt me. Howdy, Soda. I just need to be practicing in Miss Katerina's studio. Oh, hello, hello. What am I doing today? Playing Arknights. I want to get through at least chapter 8 of this event. At the very, very least. I ain't gonna stop ya, but don't you think you ought to head to the theater early? To do some makeup and get ready and whatnot? Yeah, you have a point. Apple Pie's already off to buy breakfast. We got just enough time to meet her. Okay. Say, didn't we say we'd set up a big ol' welcome for Apple Pie's sister? 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 We did. But I'm not sure we'll have enough time for that. Croissant, watch your step.
Huh? Whoa.
Owie. Are you alright?
I'm fine. Just tripped on a little something.
Dang it, I knocked over the stack of books. Let me tidy them up.
Huh? A picture dropped out of something.
Picture?
Wait, huh?
What's wrong?
Looky here.
It is a photograph from many years ago. Soda can barely make out the background that should be of the wide and bustling streets of Columbia past. In the center of the photograph stands a middle-aged man who wears a kind expression but exudes an audacity to not be trifled with. On his left and right sides stand a lupo girl and a feline girl. The girl on the left has beautiful blonde hair and sports a cheery expression, and even at a glance, one can immediately tell that she has a bubbly personality. The girl on the right has black hair, her face betraying no emotions, making it difficult for one to guess the contents of her heart.
Look, this picture, ain't that Texas as a kid? And standing there with her, that's Katerina?
Katerina's the childhood friend? Oh, the childhood friend route has been unlocked. Sorry, Soda.
And look on the back here.
Written on the back side of the photo, Giovanna and Selenia, 1080.
Giovanna. Is that gonna be Katerina's real name?
Giovanna Rosati.
Ooh, drama. How long has this car wash been open? 5 years. 5 years? Coincidentally, that's how long my guard, Tusk Beast, has been missing. If only I knew how he was doing these days. The city's a pretty big place. There's always a way to survive. It never made any sense to me before. I fed him plenty of meat, gave him a nice den. Why wasn't he happy? Think he might have been vegetarian? Maybe. Maybe I never knew how bad meat actually was until it tried a full-course meal. It's better not to eat it all than to eat something bad. Oh, your car's done. You're pretty good at your job. Practice makes perfect. Heh, you never fail to get it done just right.
And true, Soda got the bestie for Texas. And our apple pie is for best partner. Man, Texas and her awesome, harem of girls.
But Dan Brown, nothing lasts forever. It's time for you to change your tastes.
Also, would Lapland technically be a childhood friend too? She'd be the more open childhood friend or girl next door. While our buddy Katerina can be The mysterious childhood friend.
I'll think about it. Think carefully. Once you figured it out, you're always welcome to come back.
Are you the backup bassist?
Yes.
Oh, is that your natural hair color?
Yes.
That's special. Usually you have to dye your hair to work as a bassist. I've heard only those with Familia Texas blood have that eye and hair color. And now that I'm seeing you up close, your eyebrows look really similar to Salvador's. Are you his bastard or something? How do you recognize someone based on their eyebrows? Like, what? Maybe I don't pay enough attention to people's faces, but I don't think I'd ever be like, oh my goodness, those eyebrows remind me of insert person here. But clearly you must be related to them based on those eyebrows of yours. Eyebrows. Eyebrows. Why? Just why and how?
No, I have nothing to do with Texas.
And when's my birthday? April 27. All sorts of coincidences out there, huh? Okay, take a seat over there. Your foundation's really good, so I should be able to get you squared away in no time. Theater box.
Pardon me, are you satisfied with your seating?
Yes, I've got a fine view.
Excellent, excellent. If there's anything you need, please don't hesitate to call for me.
Ooh, fellow April person, nice.
Let's head down.
You're not gonna stay and watch?
You know I've never been a fan of this sort of stuff. How about I grab you a nice drink?
I'd like.
Brandy, I know.
Did I read all the reviews? Yes. It was interesting how some of the reviews were for Lungman films, because for some reason I thought they would all be for La Muerte de Texas, but then I'm like, what? Why are they mentioning, like, Lungman action flicks? Sorry I'm late. No worries, everyone's still getting ready. Go ahead and take a seat. I'll do your makeup first. Okay. What's wrong? You don't look too well. Are you getting stage fright? No, I'm fine. Don't worry, Sora. You've been working so hard. Everyone's gonna love you for sure. I hope so. I wonder what it's like getting makeup done by, like, a makeup artist. Maybe I'll book an appointment someday just for the experience. Oh, right. Did you know? What's wrong? Apparently, the bassist got sick and couldn't make it to the performance. Huh? What are you going to do then? It's no big deal. The director was able to find a stand-in. She's getting her makeup done in another dressing room right now. A stand-in? Are you sure that's going to work? Just trust the director's judgment, alright? Speaking of the director, he didn't come tonight? He just dropped by to give some direction before leaving again. I think he's meeting with a guest. Important people are always so busy, huh? But it's okay, Sora. You just need to play your part, that's all. Yes. Ooh. ...
Oh, if it isn't Judge Lavinia. I haven't seen you here for a while. Have you come to watch tonight's opera?
No, I'm just passing by.
That's too bad, but did you know we're putting on the highly anticipated La Muerte de Texas? I'm sure you'll love it.
Sorry, I'm not in the mood.
That's alright then. I look forward to your next visit.
mysterious. And wait a second, is my microphone catching the fan sounds for some reason? Which it shouldn't be. Let me just check the sensitivity real quick, because when I see the green appearing when it's supposed to be quiet, it's like, what? But why? Okay, let me just adjust a tiny bit. I think that's better. Or is it still gonna catch it? No, I think it's good now. Do not catch the fan sounds, please, Mike. Huh? Dan Brown? What's he doing here? Who would I invite to watch a film in Arknights? I'd want to bring our lovely Nian, just because she also makes films, so I think she'd very much appreciate going to another movie or play. Did he really take my advice and come to the theater to unwind? But today's performance is... Lavinia, he did take your advice, but he did not like watching plays. He'd rather go to the other theater. Wait a second.
Oh, did you change your mind?
That's right. 1 ticket, please. Theater box.
Don Bernardo, someone's here to see you. Oh, it's Rubio, Secretario di Sicurezza Alimentare. Let him in. Of course.
Oh, it's our bestie Rubio.
Don Bernardo. You can just call me Director here. Ah, yes. It's an honor to be here, Director. Take a seat, Signor Secretario. Let's enjoy the show first, then we'll talk.
Do not hurt Rubio, please.
Signore e signori. Thank you for being here tonight. You're about to see another spectacular performance brought to you by Compagnia del Alba. La Morte di Texas, Act 2. Written by Signorina Caterina. Every Syracusan already knows the story of Salvador. But how many truly know the details? Signora Caterina, who has a deep understanding of Familia Texas, provides us with her frank yet intricate perspective. Let us delve deeper into the life of Salvador.
I want to see who's playing Grandpa. Break a leg, Soda. Right, time to go. Look, Texas. Soda's playing your grandpa's love interest. You finally found them. Atta girl. Soda scored a seat with a great view. Great expectations for her all around. Excuse me, would you mind letting us through?
A Sancta girl, an unusual sight in Syracusa.
Eh? You're Sancta too? I've been in Volsini for a while, and this is the first time I've seen one of my people.
Heh. Looks like it's one good thing after another today. Go right on by, child.
What's wrong? That's weird. I don't sense any emotions from him. Is he an exiled Sancta? But he's unlike any of the other Sancta exiles I've seen. Well, whatever. By the way, am I the only one who thinks way too much of this crowd looks like mobsters? I miss that guy's sleeping mask. The sleeping mask was a top tier thing about him. Otherwise, he looks pretty normal. I hear tell the head of the Rosati family's here tonight. Hey, isn't that what you're just talking about? Yep, but let's just enjoy the show for now. I want to enjoy the show. Ooh. Spotlight. An In an era where chaos and opportunity came hand in hand, some were swallowed by the tides of the times, where others found it in their promised land. Violence and wealth, power and order. Onto Colombian soil steps a Syracusan, bringing with him only scars, hardship, and ambition. And thus begins our tale, ladies and gentlemen. Come and bear witness to whom this era truly belongs. Ooh. That voice. I see how it is. You're here to bring her back, aren't you? But do you really think that's going to happen?
Who the hell are you?
Signor signori, let the show begin. Surprise! It's your friends, Texas. Look! It really is you, Selenia. Huh? Texas? Eh? For a brief moment, Texas shifts her eyes to one of the boxes. She knows Bernardo is sitting there, gazing down upon everything. She feels it in her heart. Whether coincidence or some form of necessity, in this moment, Soda is both a danger and a safe haven. Everything depends on her. The movement in the auditorium and the faint sounds in the distance all prelude the start of the assassination. She gestures to Soda for her to stay silent, then proceeds to pluck the strings in her hands. A most wonderful performance has begun. Ayy! Warlock is heir to me, so she can fight him, but no! Not the childhood friend. I want her to be safe. I like the childhood friend, she cool to me. Yeah, I do like her. And oh gosh, there's a car there. The car gives me some fear. I don't know what to think of it. I mean, no fear, never feel fear. Just kidding, there's always fear. I don't trust that car. Boop. But why there's so many dudes just standing there menacingly? Sirs, can you just not do that? It bothers me. That car. Do I trust that car? Do I trust the car? Car, are you safe? No, you are a bad car. You are Truck-kun's cousin. I see how it is. Don't trust the car. Car bad. Car not our friend. Okay. Okay. I got this. It's fine. It's completely fine. Why are they running that way? Why are you just standing there, sir? Why buy the car? Can you just like not do that? No, stop it. Move, sir. Sir? What are you doing standing there? Do you want to get run over, sir? Why? Why must you do this? It's not cool, dude. Just move. Oh, I'm so bothered. Why? Why does he gotta stand there like that? I mean, hello. Oh no, it's the car. Sirs, move to the exit. The exit is right there. There's 2 different exits. Please move. Okay, that one's smart. Look at him, going for the exit automatically. Well, the others 2, they're like, oh, that's an exit? I think I should go there too. Sirs. Heal. Go, Lapling, go.
Back up. This one's tricky. don't fight her head on. Cover the aisles and the stairs leading up to the Donna's box.
Tisk tisk. Rosati soldiers are pretty capable after all, huh? Looks like trying to brute force my way through isn't a realistic option. Lapland. Never ever say that. Brute force is the best. Silly Texas. It's pretty obvious she's got a recorder in that base. Sounds convincing, though, the way she's plucking those strings. There it is. If I can't break through the front, I'll just have to make a path.
Don't panic. Stand your ground. Aren't you afraid to die? How are the others doing? The aisles and the stairs leading to Giovanna's box are all guarded. They were ready for this. Leave it to the Rosatis. But we've never been ones to underestimate Giovanna. Throw more soldiers at them. We're not letting Giovanna out today. You might not have underestimated Giovanna, but don't you think you underestimated me? What?
Hello, how am I? Pretty good.
You're Wallach. Heh, had I known the show today would be so exciting, I wouldn't have gone to buy a drink for the Donna. If Signora Giovanna appreciates a fine wine, I happen to have a selection with me. No thanks. The Donna enjoys many things about Syracusa, but the wine isn't one. Syracusan wines are too weak. Same as you people swing your weapons. Doesn't make for a good time.
If Syracusan wine is too weak, I wonder how she'd find the wine from underground.
Maybe you just haven't had the best Syracusa has to offer.
Hello.
So, isn't this a great opportunity? Do you know how long I've been waiting for this? Belongs into Luzos. Let's find out what Syracusa's finest wine really tastes like.
In this case, maybe I'm rooting for you, Wallach.
Trying to get up this way. Stop her!
Who said I was going up?
What? Explosives? Get out of there!
Whoa, the seats over yonder just collapsed. Is that Lapland? Look over there.
Erg.
Is it another familiar gang war? Ooh. Oh, pretty.
Move. She had weapons in her instrument?
Texas! Texas says nothing. She only shoots her a glance, parting her lips for a second before rushing up the stairs. Soda reads those lips. She said, "Wait for me." Dang, how cool. I know Soda's playing Grandpa's love interest, but nah. This is the true one. Oh, the drama.
Run for it!
What you think we ought to do, Apple Pie? Soda's in danger. But... someone, save me! Get down! Well, you're pretty tough for an old guy.
Do I look that old to you?
Oh no! He might actually be young. He could just not age best, you know. Watch. He's actually 17 years old. Or heck, maybe he's 13. He could just have, aged. really, 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 really poorly. No offense, sir. As a 13-year-old or 17-year-old. Well, I guess I wouldn't go that far.
Looks like today's performance is not La Morte di Texas, but rather La Morte di Rosati. Find somewhere to hide, children.
That sounds nice, but our friend is still up there on stage. It's a goddamn hurricane all around the thing. We can't just go hopping on into that. Let's go backstage then. Okay. Come on, out of my way. Huh?
Go, brave children.
Thanks, old man. I'll buy you a slice later. Thank you kindly.
Haha, kids these days are so full of pep. What's your plan now, Giovanna?
Mysterious old dude.
Donna Giovanna, we've got everything locked down. Let's get you out while we still can.
Why? It's a rare opportunity to watch a wonderful show from a fantastic seat. I'm going to have to savor this. Sora, you really are her true friend, aren't you? Now, how are you going to get up here, Selenia? Even if you find a shortcut, getting to me won't be easy.
But
if I were to run away right now, do you think the Belons and Saluzos would just give up and call it quits? This is a war now, me dear. The Belons and Saluzos have decided to Signora Cecilia's ban violence and started a gang war. Spread the word. There's only one thing we can do for now. Fight to the end.
of course.
Oh man, I like her. I don't want her to get assassinated. She's cool. The cool, mysterious childhood friend.
Ng. Looks like fine Syracusan wine has nothing special after all. I wouldn't glow just yet. Colombian scum. What?
Sorry, Dimitri.
Yes, I know. You Syracusans think the Colombian familiae are just rowdy upstarts who haven't paid our dues. And yeah, there are a whole lot of incompetent idiots over in Colombia. But what about you? Can you even sniff out the scent of blood under your so-called guns in order? We've never looked down on Syracusa. But from what I've seen today, you don't even deserve my attention. Wallach, we've got a situation at the theater. Someone blew up the seats, and Selenia's heading straight for the 3rd floor. You've got 5 seconds for your last words. Last words? Heh. What's there to say? If you're really gonna do it, then tell Leontuzo that I'm sorry. Sure. What?
Magical bullets.
Leon? You... I'll handle this my way, Dimitri. Signor Leontuzo, here I thought we could get along. You just lost your last chance for that. Well, well, well. Turns out the heir to the great familia just oozes charisma after all. You've made a fool of me, and you still tell me I had a chance to make things right. What's done is done. I'll make you a bet, Wallach. You're a betting man? Ha ha ha. Signor Leon, mio amico. We're not in a dining hall or one of our offices. We're in a war, and only one of us walking out of this alive. Trust me, you'll love this one.
I want to see the bet.
Ugh, these Rosatis are a pain in the ass. Your Honor, we never heard you were joining us in this one. And anyway, this ain't something you can just walk into.
I'm not here to stop you. I'm not interested. I'm looking for someone.
Who? We got one hell of a mess here. Not gonna be easy to find anybody.
All I need from you is to stay out of my way.
But
even if I die here, that's none of Familia Belon's business.
Suit yourself then. There you are. Hold it. I work here. Uh-huh. We got rid of all the workers.
Grr. What is he doing here? Look out, Dan. Blood splatters and a few drops splash across Lavinia's face.
Signorina Lavinia? What are you doing here?
Man, now she has to wash her face. First, she got someone to throw up in her car, then the same dude got blood on her book, and now she got some random dude's blood on her face. The path opened by Lapland is doing its job. Only a short distance separates her from her old friend. She lets out a soft sigh. Chaos throws all around her, but she knows what to do.
I knew you'd come, Selenia. What a look in your eyes there. It's like I'm the prey. Let's see what the last Texas can do. Senior Director, is this chaos part of the show? Chaos? In my opinion, the Gritario Rubio, everything is in perfect order. What comes next will be even better. I see. You lead one of the most prestigious troops in Volsini, and you've put on a play unlike any other. We do have an intermission coming up though. You may tell me what it is you want from me. What I want isn't very complicated. With Karachi's death, the seat of Ministro de la Voie Publique is now vacant. You must be thinking about who the most suitable candidate is. I take it you decided you're that candidate? I don't think there's anyone else better suited than me.
Ooh, Rubio's going for a promotion. I want Texas to help Giovanna make the rest of Act 3. Since she needs inspiration, right?
Wow. There's still mercy in you at a time like this. The Saluso psycho isn't gonna finish me off.
I'm not interested in a pointless fight with some punk who was never taking it seriously to begin with.
Ha.
What are you waiting for? What do you want?
I made a bet with someone, and I hope I lose.
Pollock looks in the direction Texas went. No one can stop her from assassinating Giovanna. Except Giovanna herself. There is nobody else in the empty room. Texas immediately realizes what's happening, but it's too late. A knife is already up against her neck. Since I came to Syracusa, I've been thinking of all the different ways someone might try to kill me. But I never once thought it might be you. And I never imagined you'd let your guard down at a time like this. Did you think that when I saw you'd I'd give you a big hug and cry, "Thank goodness, Selenia, you're still alive"? And then we'd sit down and share a drink and catch up on everything that's happened over the last few years?
I'm here to kill you.
Great. With that word, Giovanna drops a knife in her hand. She wears a radiant smile on her face, her expression full of longing, as if the murderous intent from a moment ago was just a light-hearted joke. Long time no see, Selenia.
Long time no see, Giovanna.
Oh, what a reunion. Like, before you kill me, at least let me finish my play. Act 3 must go on. What to be forgotten? Boop. And of course I gotta bring along Texas, because this is her story after all. Sora, are you alright? Yes, I'm fine. Are you going after Texas? When I saw her a minute ago, she told me to wait for her. Let's hunker down until this mess blows over. It's total mayhem out there. If you don't want to lose her, you're gonna want to go after her. Lapland. I mean, Lapland's giving good advice, right? I feel like it's the same way with Lapland. For people like her, there's no point in trying to guess at what they're thinking. It's better to just accept what they say at face value. Only if every word they say is true, can you start to figure out if they're ultimately trying to weave truth into a lie. Why's that? Well, do you know who it is waiting in that room? Giovanna Rosati. If there's anyone who could actually get Texas to come back to Syracuse, it ain't me or Bernardo, and it sure as hell ain't Signora Cecilia. It's her, Giovanna. The mysterious childhood friend. Never underestimate the mysterious childhood friend's power. Selenia, you're a lot taller than you used to be. Makes sense, doesn't it? It's been years. By the way, I met some of your friends from Lungmen. Your name came up a few times, and from what they said, I can tell they're worried about you. I didn't think they'd come for me. You're nothing like them after all. I never thought you'd make such lively, outgoing friends with that personality of yours. You don't count. If you really thought I was your friend, you wouldn't have gone so long without writing me. Alright, I know you must be hiding something else. What about you? Me? Nothing much. The liquidation came too suddenly. None of Columbia's familia could sleep at night. I couldn't bear to see that any longer, so I stood up to take charge of the situation. I opened up talks with Signora Cecilia, and we basically managed to sort things out. That's all there is to it. You make it sound so easy. Honestly, I should be complaining to you. But it's been too long since I've had anyone to confide in. So that's why you poured your heart and soul into your scripts. Could you tell? La Muerte de Texas is my magnum opus. There were some details in it that only you know. I guess that means my memory is pretty good then. But I could never decide on what to do with Act 3, with your death. I guess there's no need to think about it anymore. Huh. Actually, becoming a playwright had another purpose. It's an open secret that Bernardo passed responsibility for the Familia to his son. Well, he went on to become the artistic director of this troupe, Compagnia de Alba. I wanted a chance to meet him, you know. There aren't many mafiosi who would do something like that. But the one who ended up shattering all expectations was him. I guess I should have expected it after all. From the man who built Familia Belon into what it is in just a single generation. By the looks of things, he really wants to challenge Signora Cecilia. You don't seem worried about it. All I can say is, if Bernardo considers you his trump card against the Rosatis, he's counting his foul beasts before they've hatched. You were right to come to me, Selenia. No matter what's going on between you and the Belons, I can help you. Join me. The two of us, together, will make a difference in Syracuse. And not just because you're Salvador's granddaughter. Because I know you, Selenia. You can make a difference. We'll start over together, Selenia. Soda, break into the room and steal your girl back. Quickly, the childhood friend's trying to steal her back. Don't you want to know how I managed to survive? Giovanna, it was no fluke that I survived the liquidation. So you're here, standing on the stage, performing this play. How much do you know about what happened 7 years ago? 7 years ago, Texas's father, Giuseppe, murdered his own father, Salvador, and declared that the Texases would no longer operate under Syracuse's control. That upset Signora Cecilia, who sent an elite force from the 12 families to Colombia to liquidate the Texas family. You were part of that, weren't you? Look who's such a smarty. At the time, Selenia, Texas was a star-studded name. She was Colombian, but even the Syracusans had nothing but wonderful things to say about her. This whole time, you've been trying to beat Texas? Beat her? No, no, no. Back when the Saluzas were looking after her, we were pretty competitive. Sometimes I'd win a little contest, sometimes I'd lose. I did want to beat her, but that had nothing to do with what happened after. Then, you certainly do care deeply for her. Unfortunately, that has nothing to do with the plot of the story either. At least tell me what happened. Hello, hello, hello. And yes, I will do Honkai Star Rail on Saturday in the morning though for my time zone. Like for my time zone right now, it is nighttime. Right now it is 7:52 p.m. over here. And for Saturday I was thinking around 12 p.m. since I have a collab at like 5 a.m. and that usually ends around maybe 10-ish. So then that way I can eat breakfast and just like chill for a tiny bit. And then there's gonna be Honkai Star Rail, and then afterwards I chill for a little bit, and then I play Fate's Grand Order. And then I take a nap and then do another collab in the morning. Oh, what a busy weekend. I joined in a liquidation. I was fantasizing about how she would fight me to the death for the sake of her familia. It got my heart pounding and my blood racing. But nothing could have prepared me for what I saw that day. Wait, Lapland, continue your story, girl. You're a Hitman too, aren't you, Dan Brown?
I am. Signorina Lavinia, 7 years ago, I was part of the team that carried out the liquidation of Familia, Texas. I arrived in the city ahead of time, took up a job as at a car wash, and secretly observed the Texas's every move. Then, the team from Syracuse arrived, and a group of Colombians found me. Colombian mafiosi are pretty careless, real full of themselves. I could have dealt with them easy though. Easy enough. If it wasn't for that one girl. I knew her. She was a Texas. But everyone said she was like a Syracusan.
Selenia.
When I see you, I'm sometimes reminded of her.
Was she as stupid as me, rambling on about ideals of the murderer?
No. Signorina Lavinia, I never meant to make fun of your ideals. It's just, I can barely believe it. Hearing you talk about that stuff is like listening to a real pretty fairy tale. To me, your ideals are so pretty. They're a kind of shortcut to get me a good night's sleep. That day, I was ready to fight for my life. I was convinced she would see right through me, but she let me walk right by her, just like this.
The audience has scattered in every direction. The battle between murderers has moved on. The theater has emptied out. As Lapland speaks, she takes light dance steps out onto the empty stage. The associates of Familia, Texas were already pretty much wiped out. But what about Selenia? She was the only one missing. We couldn't let anyone live to talk about what happened, especially not the eldest daughter. So we all went to track her down. And that was when chaos broke out. The Texas mansion went up in flames, burning away the Familia's very existence. And the arsonist was standing there at the front door, right in front of me. She slowly turned and walked towards me. At that moment, I understood. She decided to stand by and watch the end of her own Familia. But who could blame her? Her father murdered her grandfather and didn't want to be an accomplice to that. Only she had the right to blame herself. But there's more to it than that. When I looked into her eyes, what I saw was exhaustion. Dang, Texas!
Selenia's story is no secret to Familia Saluzzo or to me. After all, The one who led the Saluzzo team at the time was none other than Signorina Lapland. She got kicked out because she went on her own to hunt down Selenia. Her men got caught up in the counterattack, and a lot of them died.
I won't run away, nor will I avert my eyes. For so long, she had told herself as much. But this time, her words fail her.
Look at the bodies on the street, Lavinia. Listen to the shouts and cries in the distance. What can you do? The only advice I can give you is the same I gave to Selenia. Run. The farther the better. Even if your past is going to catch up with you, you at least enjoy a moment of peace. Otherwise, you will die.
But I still don't want to. Her past kicked down her door. It might have been against her will at first, but she was forced out only to find nothing changed. Maybe she'll decide the things she ran away from weren't actually all that bad. Her life in Lungmen might have been a slightly extended vacation. And now, the one most intimately connected with her family in her past is standing right in front of her. That's what you wanted to tell me, right?
Yeah.
If that's the case, I will respect your decision. Even though you're her best friend? Because I'm her best friend. Wow, she's so trusting in Texas. Like, I know her better than anyone. She will come back to me. I believe in her. Darn tootin'. Unless the pizza in Syracuse becomes inedible. I wanna try the pizza. My grandfather was a sentimental man. He sent me to Syracuse hoping I would remember my roots. I lived there for a while. People there told me all the time that I fit in, like a Syracusan. But for me, I was just doing what I'd always been doing. The way I lived my life in Columbia was no different than the way I lived in Syracuse. And what I saw in Syracuse was no different from what I saw in Columbia. You might know the story of Amelia, Texas like the back of your hand, but I saw it with my own eyes. Life isn't a play where every move is sprinkled with a little heroism or villainy. What happened was just an undignified slaughter. My father bought a counterfeit gun from Black Steel. When he pulled the trigger, it exploded and did a number on him. My grandfather fell to the ground. My father drew his knife with his injured hand, but the first stab went wide. I heard everything from the doorway. Hoarse curses, groans of pain. The commotion lasted for a long time before it finally ended. In that moment, I was exhausted. Exhausted with everything. So I decided to leave. Are you telling me that Lungmen is your home now? I don't know. I can't say for sure. But I at least know I had a pretty good time there. You're just like you were back then. Blunt and straight to the point. Looks like I'm the one getting ahead of myself. Here I was thinking you came to ask me for my help. Or at least, you'd want to catch up with me. But in the end, you're here to tell me that we can never go back. You know, Selenia, that's awfully heartless of you. I was shocked when I heard you were still alive, but you went ahead and stamped out my hope all over again. I'm sorry, Giovanna. I don't want to be Syracusan or Colombian. I just want to be Selenia, Texas. This is your last chance. If you walk through those doors, you'll be my enemy, the Rosati's enemy. You'll be in our way, and I, as Donna Rosati, have a responsibility to eliminate everything that stands in our way. Don't make me do this. We're just too sentimental, Giovanna. Okay, so what do I think on Texas's past? I could only answer this after seeing the entire cutscene because I had to hear it from her point of view. Like, hearing it from Lapland is cool and all, but it's better to hear from the direct source. So for her case then, man, I can see why she'd be exhausted of all that drama. The oof. So she really did witness her dad murdering her grandpa. Or at least was right there when it happened. Which is even like the biggest oof. She's like, yeah, you know what? I'm over this. I'm gonna... If dad's gonna be like that... Yeah, it's time to leave. Like, yeah, I don't want to be part of this anymore. Understandable. Very, very understandable. And you know, maybe burning down the mansion was therapeutic at that point. It's like making a clean slate. Getting rid of all the bad memories. And look at that one guy just standing there menacingly. Go, Texas, go. And hello, hello. Oh no, I'm letting those people go through. Oopsies. You know, I'm just gonna let them go. I'll do it again. I feel bad for Giovanna though. Like, she wanted to get back together with Texas, but no, Texas moved on. Like, sorry girl, you're not the one for Texas. As much as you wanted to be, no. It wasn't meant to be, girl. Now, that was probably a little embarrassing for her. Like, oops, I thought she would accept me. Yeah, I got a little too ahead of myself. Oopsies. Slightly embarrassing. And then trying to give her a second chance, or in a way, a third chance. Like, come on, please, just accept it. Accept my proposal. But no, it was not meant to be. Sorry, girl. We can't be together. Big oof. I don't want her to go poof though. I like her. I like the childhood friend. Let's keep her. Come on, she's pretty cool. Okay, now there's a dude running. I'm prepared this time. Very, very prepared. There's no fear. Gotta keep her in healing range. All good, all good. Now they're slowly walking menacingly as one do. I'll put her here, even though she's not really in range. When I activate her skill, it's all good. Look at that guy just standing there. Look at these three dudes just standing. Like, come on, sirs. Hurry up. Hurry up, sirs. Move. Why you gotta stand there menacingly like that? Like, come on. Come on, my dudes. Move, please. Oh well, this is fine. This is completely fine. Huh? What kind of ending am I expecting? Well, based on what Leon Tuzo said when we get to summon him, technically. I feel like Lapland and Texas are gonna pull like an Uno reverse on Bernardo.
The most unremarkable Dipartimento de Sicurezza Alimentare, and its popular but underappreciated Segretario. At this point, men like Karachi, who are propped up to maintain balance between the major familiae, are no longer needed. What you need is a puppet that is safe and useful.
Or instead of Texas and Lapland doing that, Rubio will be the one to destroy the Belon family, as one does when you're Rubio. Look at Rubio. He is a true master assassin. I mean, he's a master chef after all. Meaning he's a professional with a knife.
Am I wrong? Signor Segretario, a truly safe and useful puppet would never refer to himself as such. I just happen to be a bit more self-aware than others. Ha ha. And mightily self-aware you are. You're right, Rubio. You are the best candidate to replace Karachi. But if you're willing to be so frank with me, I might as well share something with you. I'm listening. My associates killed Karachi. You've got guts, and I like talking with men like you. So I'm willing to give you a chance. Turn around and leave this room. Forget what you just said, and no harm will come to you. Then, go back home and spend some time with your wife and daughter. Savor the last moments of peace in the city. Doesn't that mean you'd need a puppet like me all the more? You're after this chaos. What's happening all around us? You want to overturn the law laid down by Signora Cecilia, but you don't care if she rules or if you go back to the old ways. The conflict among familiae never had anything to do with us commoners. When something happens, we just wait to see the result. It makes no difference to the commoners whether Signora Cecilia rules or you do. But the winner will need someone to maintain the facade of order. As a Don of a familia, surely you understand this principle. It isn't impossible for the commoners to survive without a familiae, but the same cannot be said for the familiae without the commoners. You're telling me that you hold the real power? No, I'm making a self-serving justification for the weak. A good justification at that, but it doesn't tell me what you're really after. Power, Don Bernardo. Since I was a kid, everyone looked down on me because I'm weak, and I look like, this. The oppression I felt from the people around me was more real than anything the familia ever did. And I've suffered that my entire life, waiting for this chance. You tell me you're the one who had Karachi killed. All I can think about is, thank goodness I came at the right time. You may not want to hear this, but if you're going up against Signora Cecilia, it's probably not going to go your way. But who cares? Doesn't matter to me if you win or lose, in the end. But power is something Signora Cecilia can't give me. It's gotta be you. You're an honest man, Rubio. I like making friends with honest men. Don Bernardo whispers. Give my order. Tell them that's enough for today. Of course.
What just happened? The room over there started shaking. Looks like she chose you. Huh? That earthquake is Giovanna's arts. Sounds like they had a falling out. Look, Texas jumped out of the window. Let's go after her. Right. Texas. If, and I mean if, we were friends back then, could I have kept you in Syracuse? Huh? That chance, right? We would have just slaughtered each other.
Lavinia, don't make me kill you. I've got a job to do. Signorina Lavinia, I pray that you aren't born a Syracusan the next time around. Just a second. Who are you? You're one of Saluzzo's hitmen, right? This operation is over. Don Bernardo's orders just in. Lavinia, you shouldn't have shown your face here.
That's not up to you.
You've interfered with a Saluzzo operation that's going to ruin the relationship between our two familiae.
Haha. So why don't you go beg Alberto's forgiveness with my head on a silver platter?
Wait, please. Signor Bernardo, I mean, Don. I have a presumptuous request. I imagine Signor Leontuzzo will be very busy in the future. It's unrealistic to expect him to help me the way he did Karachi. I'd like to ask you for a new assistant. The judge here would be a suitable pick. That certainly is one option.
What are you two talking about?
Ah, how impertinent of me. carrying out this conversation without including the subject, Signorina Lavinia. Don Bernardo has decided that I, Rubio, the humble ex-Secretario di Sicurezza Alimentare, shall take Karachi's place as the next Ministro dei Lavori Pubblici. And I have to admit, I'm not too experienced with bureaucratic affairs, so I hope that you, as someone with ample experience, will become my assistant.
Okay, based on that scene, I believe in Rubio. He is playing, like, you know that one thing, like, where you... He's playing 5D chess. He knows what he's doing. He's like, ah, yes, everything is coming together. I will destroy Bernardo. He he he. And to do that, I must team up with Lavinia. Yes. I wonder how Sora and the others are doing. What? Why are you here?
When you get old, you start looking for a place to enjoy the rest of your days. Found her. She's right over here. Surround her.
Looks like you insist on getting in my way.
She's still worried about you after what happened. As for me, I'm old now, so I spend my days taking care of the youth. It's a hobby. Stay a while and have a chat with your elder.
Next time. Ooh, fading to white. Texas, we'll protect you. Power of friendship activated. Croissant? Uh-huh. Let's have a look-see. Who's off fighting all by herself?
Why are you all here?
As far as I can tell, the Syracusan families always fight together. It's your culture. And Penguin Logistics' culture is to party hard. In this case, it should be, don't be afraid to rumble, right? You got it! Seriously though, old man, you think you could let this one slide? A favor from one sancta to another? Get your head on straight, apple pie.
You do have a point. The rainy season in Syracuse is a long one. It didn't bother me when I was young, but now, the arthritis is such a hassle. Children, striving for strength is fine. Remember to put your health and safety first.
You're pulling my leg. Thanks a bunch. By the way, if I ever did want to talk with you, how could I find you?
If you're searching for redemption, I'm afraid there's nothing I can do for you. But if you're searching for order, you will find me everywhere.
That's enough. Let's get out of here. Woohoo! And now time to get some pizza.
Donna.
What's the situation?
The Belons have retreated.
Good work.
Where's Selenia?
Gone.
Gone?
She couldn't kill me, and I couldn't kill her. Let's head back and prepare. The Belons aren't going to let this go.
Right.
So, Walak, what did you bet on? Let me see what the bet was. Block?
You've won, Leon Tuzo.
Oh, I guess Leon was like, they would never kill each other because they're childhood friends. You know how it is in the trope of childhood friends being reunited. They can't destroy each other.
Your original plan wasn't to win over Walak, was it? But wasn't that the best option, given the circumstances? Can't deny that. Alright, enough talk. Let's get you in the car. Leon, you still haven't given up, have you? Compared to what Lavinia's been through, this setback is nothing. You're going to do great things. Maybe one day, you might actually be able to realize your dreams in Syracuse. And when that time comes, you'll be my right-hand man. I don't get along with Lavinia. There are some things better left to her, and others better left for you. Haha, you cheeky bastard. You're already thinking about that kind of stuff. Dimitri, I'm still angry about what you and my father were plotting. I don't understand why he insists on continuing, even now. But, in the end, I'm still a part of this familia.
I wonder how upset Dimitri would be, though. Like, Dimitri does not like Lavinia. So if, you know, Leon and Lavinia went from besties to lovers, I wonder how upset he'd be. Would he be that one person that objects at a marriage or a wedding, I mean? He'd be like, I object! No! No, because I hate her! And then they'd escort him out of there. Safe landing. It feels great to be back on our own turf. Phew. Syracusans sure are a pain in the ass. I'm totally wiped. You hanging in there, Sora? Yes, but my dress got a little torn up. Well, shoot. That was one awfully expensive. Yeah, that one was awfully expensive, wasn't it? Haha. We'll figure something out. Alrighty, 1 bottle per person. Come on, knock it off with that stone face. Just think of it this way. The 3 of us also happen to be on a vacation here.
Then, what's with the show?
Oh, that's, just a way to grow my career. Plus, I thought it might make finding you a little easier.
I reckon it sure did, looking at the way things turned out. Sure enough.
The atmosphere remains chilly for a while. But finally, an unavoidable problem emerges. Where do they go from here? Texas does not have it in her to ask. Texas, I had an agreement with the director. Now that I found you, I will stay here and complete my performance contract.
But
I've spoken with the director a few times. It's a little scary in retrospect, but I don't think he's the kind of man to hold our lives over you.
You have a point. If he wanted to do something like that, he would have locked us up a long time ago. Okay, alright. Let's quit the jawing. You keep talking and I keep getting scareder and scareder.
We really are here to see you. If it wasn't so dangerous out there, I'd like you to show us around.
Okay. When we're through with all this, I'll give you a tour.
Anyways, let's celebrate this Penguin Logistics reunion in Syracuse. Cheers!
The biggest thing.
An unknown number. I don't remember ever giving out this number. Hello? Who am I speaking with?
It seems you're safe and sound. Signorina Sora. That's a relief.
You know what happened with Texas, right?
Don't worry, Signorina. Your Penguin Logistics friends must be enjoying a joyous reunion, and I certainly don't want to interrupt that. But I was just thinking you might have a lot of questions for me, so I'll be waiting for you at the theater tomorrow.
Right. I like how Sora is just like, I know this place is dangerous, but I got a job. I gotta be a professional. Gotta put or separate work and personal stuff, right? That's the way it be. Ooh. A Laterano side story? Oh, I wonder how that's gonna be. And oh, Penguin Logistics office. Boop. Walking on eggshells. Okay. Exia saw a marking on the door, and without thinking twice, covered it up with the graffiti commonly seen in the streets of Lungmen. Consequently, a few days later, An abandoned garage not too far away got blown up. Yeah, consequently, huh? Boop. Put Texas here. And before, actually I'll put start. And I shall hydrate. You know, hydration's always important. Especially since summer's pretty hot. It's extra humid.
Here's the pizza you ordered.
And sure, I want to see the trailer PV. Grazie.
Is someone sitting here?
Yes.
Great. Glad to join you.
I said the seat's taken. You should go and continue your familia's work. Don't bother a commoner like me.
Lavinia.
I'm not blaming you, Leon. I don't blame Bernardo either. If there's anyone to blame, it would have to be me. It's my fault I was ever born into this country, and still cling to these fantasies in my heart. I have no reason to blame either of you.
I'm not trying to reason with you at a time like this. I know full well that comforting words mean nothing right now. Even though I'm a victim just like you, it's only natural that you see me as a perpetrator. All I can tell you is, I still haven't given up. That's all. There are too many things going on in the city these days. Do keep an eye out and stay safe. If you run into any problems, give me a call.
Secretario Rubio.
Are you free right now, Your Honor?
Sorry, Leon. She's hanging out with Rubio now. See, she wasn't just saying that the seat was taken. She was being truthful. I wonder, like, Leon's probably like, man, she really hates me now. Saying that the seat's taken. Aw, man. And then he leaves awkwardly, and then maybe he'll come back and just look in the window and be like, what? What? It's having pizza with Rubio, of all people? Rubio? Folks in the street seem mighty jumpy. What happened yesterday was a pretty big deal. You really gonna go talk to the director? Yes, there are some things I need to set straight with them, no matter what. But it'll be fine. Keep doing what you need to do, Croissant.
I'll be there. Don't worry.
In that case, I'll be Croissant's bodyguard for the day. Thanks, I appreciate it.
If things go south, you give us a holler.
Will do. Croissant, you're thinking about the whole business with Texas again, aren't you? Reading me like a book, huh? You can say that again. I'm the same after all. I know what Soda is thinking. If Texas really wants to stay, she's going to respect her opinion. And I agree with that, but I still want my sister to meet my friends. At least, if there's a way to get Texas out of Syracuse safely, you'd want to find it too, wouldn't you?
Yeah. Reckon I can't hide anything from you.
Probably couldn't hide it from those two either. Just like we can understand what Soda's thinking, they can understand what we're thinking. But this is still Syracuse, and Texas is tangling with some of the biggest shots in the country. I got no clue what I'm even supposed to do. Oh? I thought you would have already figured it out. Huh? Speaking of big shots in the country, didn't we meet one of them yesterday? The third party that would ensure the chaos. If it's not Lapland, clearly it's gonna be Mr. Sancta with his awesome sleeping mask. Or heck, maybe even Ben. Ben the pizza man, critic boy. Person.
Come in. Welcome, Signorina Sora, Signorina Salinia.
Why are you dragging Sora and the others into this?
Sora's resume coming across my desk was honestly a coincidence. Of course, it could also be something of an inevitability. After all, Compagnia de Alba is a pretty well-known troupe in Syracuse. But what most fans don't know is that the troupe's director is actually the Don of Familia Bellon. That, of course, is a secret. After all, I have handed the Familia's business in the city to my son, and I'm no backseat driver. Signorina Salinia, Signorina Sora, I have been directing this troupe for 6 years. I hope the two of you can at least believe that my pursuit and love for the arts has nothing to do with my business. I too would like to see Signorina Sora shine dazzling bright on stage. If I could, then let the two of you finish your heartwarming reunion.
But you don't particularly care if she does get dragged in, do you?
Ha ha.
Drop the pretense, Bernardo. No matter how you try to sugarcoat it, even if meeting Sora was just a coincidence, how could I expect you to care about her safety? Enough jokes.
Lovely Salinia, this is the first time I've seen you angry since you got back to Syracuse.
Director, there's something I need to know.
By all means.
Is the agreement between the two of us still valid?
You're talking about?
That even if I found Texas, I'd stay with the troupe and continue performing.
Oh? And here I thought you came to terminate our contract.
What I can do is totally insignificant in the face of the conflict between families. It'll be too hard for Texas to protect us in all that chaos, and I trust that you are a man of your word, at least. So to cut to the chase, I'm willing to stay here and be your hostage.
Your bravery never ceases to impress me, Signorina. But there's no need to be nervous. I didn't call you here to castigate you. In fact, what happened at the theater was meant to be a healthy exchange of pleasantries with the Rosatis. What you've accomplished has already surpassed my wildest dreams. And so, I'd like to inform you that the contract between us is terminated. You're free to go. From now on, Selene is no longer under Familia Bellon's protection. Is this bargaining chip enough to satisfy you, my friend? Satisfy me? You think I'd forget who brought her back in the first place? All I want to know is, what was the point of this from the very beginning? You should thank my son. He was the one who convinced me you were someone to cooperate with. Leon? Ha, I see. I've always been optimistic about Familia Rosati's development. Selene was just the one who built the foundation for our cooperation today. In other words, even if Leon Tuzo didn't come to me, you would've. Like father, like son. Touching.
I think Bernardo probably does love his troupe, though.
Heh. I just hope my son can learn a thing or two from your drive. Listen, Bernardo. Other people might fall for your tricks, but I won't. Of course, Wallach. I did these things only to show you who really stands in your way. Oh? Is my biggest obstacle not sitting right in front of me? If you think you can get me to betray my Donna, keep dreaming. Perish the thought, no. This is a reminder. Deep down, you know the truth. Selenia's visit has greatly affected Giovanna. Everyone in Syracuse respects Salvador, but respect isn't blind obedience. Salvador's era ended 7 years ago. In this day and age, are you still willing to serve Giovanna to protect his legacy? You could have soared higher and farther. The Donna works for the greater good. Is the greater good she wants the same as the one you want? Familia Rosati used to dominate Colombia, standing on equal footing with the Texases. Coming back here to Syracuse, they're pushed around by the other 11 Familiae. Shouldn't your Rosatis rise above the other Familiae and drag Signora Cecilia down from Grey Hall? Stop talking like you know me, old man. I don't know you, but I know people like you, and I know the look in your eye. Not a single man alive could ever get comfortable with with the stagnant cesspool that Syracuse has become. You understood that when you saw Selenia walk out of that room alive, didn't you? Even if that's true, even what you say is right, it's something for Familia to figure out. Aren't old-fashioned Familia like yours the most reluctant to get their hands dirty? Are you telling me this is what Syracusan dignity means? Wrong again, Wallach. I invited you here to share an opportunity with you. An opportunity to overthrow the existing order in Syracusa and establish a new one. Why the Rosatis? 60 years ago, Signora Cecilia brought back two things from Laterano: guns and order. Today, people think a unified decision of the Dodici Familiae created Grey Hall, but they forget how Signora Cecilia got the Dodici to sit down together. Absolute power. Alberto is too prudent, too analytical. He's been cautious his whole life, and prudence isn't what I need to take on Signora Cecilia. What I want is a friend who's also looking to overthrow that existing order. Think about it carefully, Wallach. This is the best opportunity you're going to get. Is the Donna here? Over in that room. Go and tell her that I'm going to deal with Selenia by abducting her friends. Are we seriously going to do that? What you should be asking instead is this really what you want the Rosatis to be?
Wallach. I don't know what you're thinking, Wallach. You sure the guy we met yesterday was all that wonderful? Yeah, I've got a hunch. Why would such a heavy hitter be hanging around this town, though? I think it makes sense. If I were in his position, I'd do the same thing. Hearing it from you does make it more convincing somehow. But how'd you know he's at the courthouse? Oh, there you are. I love that sleeping mask. Well, do you remember the last thing he said? It gave me the impression he'd normally be in court, not at a church. Right, sir? Sir? I'm thinking we should leave him be.
Huh? Oh, it's you kids.
Hello there. We came to ask you a few questions.
Good. Take a seat. It's never a bad day to talk to the youths.
Hello. I'd want that sleeping mask, yo. It's beautiful. We've got a friend who's all mixed up in a contract with one of them families. They got her doing all kinds of things for him. We've been noodling on whether or not there might be a way out for her.
Your friend's surname is Texas, isn't it?
Yes.
I've heard that Bernardo's a man of his word. As a Don, he must never break his promises.
But even as foreigners can tell, all this hubbub is the Belon family trying to rile up Signora Cecilia. We ain't about to go sticking our heads in all this complicated business, and to be honest, we don't got much to do with us either. It don't got much to do with us neither. But we don't want Texas getting any payback from Signora Cecilia.
Back then, Celia's fury towards Giuseppe for what he has done was just as great as her admiration of Salvador. Because it was the most direct challenge to the order she had established. Cecilia accepts all comers within this order, but she will not allow anyone to upend the entire order.
So what you're saying is, there ain't no loopholes in this order, is that it?
I used to think that, my child, but there are no absolutes when it comes to orders established by man. Just as why me meeting with you has nothing to do with Selenia. It was just because I happened to meet a fellow Sancta here. Before Cecilia, the land of Syracusa was not without order. The only difference is the order that the families believed in came from themselves. And as no two familiae could ever share the same order, they could only fight. Cecilia's actions did not completely break this order. Instead, It unified the orders among different families into a single universal standard. All the families were united into one, and thus, Syracusa became Syracusa. Now tell me, do you know what that means?
You're saying Syracusa before and after Signora Cecilia never actually changed?
Clever girl. The problems that existed in Syracuse in the past still exist today. I know we are all aware of this fact. But all these problems can be resolved by seeing Cecilia's fold.
Meeting Signora Cecilia, that's a tall order.
That is one thing I will not help you with. But for her, there might be a way. However, the price may be too high to pay.
How high is the price? Donna? You've been staring at the necklace in your hand since last night. This is a symbol of trust given to me by Signora Cecilia for picking up the pieces of Familia Texas and leading the Colombian Familia back to Syracusa. Oh, it must be pretty valuable. Are you gonna use it to help somehow? I'm still on the fence. You said we'll lock plans to attack Selenia's friends? Yes, they stepped out a while ago, but when they get back, we'll have an ambush in place. Where are you going? To buy some chocolate. Delicious. I want some chocolate.
Tisk tisk, turns out, your guess was right on the money. Rosati associates have already started to infiltrate the block. When those ladies from Penguin Logistics get back, I'm afraid they're gonna die a gruesome death. But let me ask you a question, Lapland.
Lay it on me.
I figured the Rosatis would try to rub out Texas, but you're still a Saluzzo. You really need to send Gambino after the Sancta while you stay here and house it for him? I never knew you were to give so much for the sake of friendship.
Am I that type?
Definitely not. Which is why I want to know, what the hell are you waiting for? You plow the truck right into the courtroom, turn yourself in, and clear your name in the process. Then you went on and forced the Saluzzos and the Belons together. I got no clue why the two familiae actually started working together. But there's gotta be another reason for it, right? You know that by helping the Belons, you're also helping her. And that's before we talk about how you gave her a hand in yesterday's assassination. You say you want to prove to her that Syracuse is a swamp you can't escape. But it looks to me like you're trying to help her escape.
If I need to kill a few of her loved ones or do something to piss her off, just to prove my point, all that would show is how paranoid I am. He wouldn't get anywhere with that. If that's real, if it's a fact, then it'll happen, even if I just stood by and watched. But actually, even that isn't good enough. I can't just get out of her way. I have to give her enough help so that in the end, she finally has to admit that all her struggling was for nothing.
And doing it like this will bring you some satisfaction?
Dunno, all I do know is that there's no other way.
So basically, you don't know what to do either.
I like how Capone is indirectly calling Lapland a tsundere when it comes to Texas. So you say this, but you're doing this. Are you sure you don't like her? Like, Lapland? But he can't come out and say it like that, or else he'd get bonked. Yep, and I never said I did. And you, Capone? You should be more like Ambino and realize that you'll never get the answer you want from me about the two of you.
You already knew, huh?
He wants to stage his comeback by joining up with the Belons. But what about you? You're still standing here. Do you seriously think you're my vassal? Or are you hoping there's enough room for you on my path? Give up on that hope, or I'll kill you. There's only room for one.
What about Texas?
Texas might just be the path itself.
Ha!
Capone stays silent for a minute before turning and leaving. Ah, what a pleasant surprise. I haven't been here before. but it looks like I'm in the right place. So this is Penguin Logistics' little stronghold. Miss Katerina. Sora, alright. I gave you my number before. Would it be better if I called you Miss Giovanna? Katerina will do just fine. I like the name. Do all Syracusan mobsters like to work in the performing arts? Why not? We can't be fighting and killing each other all the time. Does that mean Lapland's dad also is involved in the arts somehow? Since Papa Bernardo likes having a performing troupe, Giovanna likes writing scripts. What about Papa Lapland? What'd he do? Are you all together right now? Ooh. Miss Katerina? Never mind. Sora, would you mind telling me more about your penguin logistics? Huh? For example, how it came to be, and how Selenia joined. I'm not too clear on the details myself. After all, penguin logistics was already a thing by the time Texas saved me. The boss mentioned a few times how he set up penguin logistics after he met Texas. But when it comes to stuff that happened after I joined, I could talk about for days about that. We've been living together for years. I'd really love to chat with you more, if we get the chance. There's a lot I'd like to tell you about Selenia. I also want to hear more from you about her life in Lungmen. If you ever get a chance to drop by Lungmen, we'd be glad to show you around. Really? You're not worried about my business? What matters is you were once Texas's best friend. Aw, Soda's so nice. It's like you were, though. We're using past tense because I am the current best friend. Heh heh heh. Selenia truly is blessed to have met a woman as kind as you in Lungmen. If you ask me, she's blessed to have a friend like you in Syracusa who's always thinking of her. Alright, Sora. Yes? I had a flash of inspiration just now. Huh? I'm always thinking about how I want the grand finale to play out. In my story, I thought she should meet her end just like a Syracusan would, surrounded in a narrow alley, incinerated by a car bomb, so on, so forth. These little excerpts from reality are so overused that they've turned into their own tropes. I want to escape the tropes, and in this story, ever become the least Syracusan. I've been trying to find a Syracusan archetype, but haven't been able to define it. That's the source of my writer's block. But right now, it's starting to come to me. There are no Syracusans. Selenia, Texas finally disappeared into the conflagration. And nobody knew what became of her. Miss Katerina, are you? I'll be back later. I have some presents for you girls. Wallach, if memory serves me right, you're trying to kidnap Selenia's friends. They're not even back yet, and you've gathered a whole mob.
I would have if you didn't show up. I'm extremely disappointed, Donna. No, Giovanna.
Were you that impatient with me?
It's not a question of patience, it's just, why should we wait? Why should we have to sit here and wait for the blessing of some antique? We followed you to this country, waiting to become masters of this land, and now we have an opportunity.
Are you so sure? Your certain victory is within your grasp.
Nope, I'm not even certain I can deal with that antique. But I know Belon really wants to bring us into a new age. And I've got a hankering to make a big bet.
How many are willing to follow you?
70%.
What about the rest?
I'll convince them. Or you could do it for me. If you decide to change your mind, Giovanna, you're still our boss.
Looks like I brought up some good soldiers after all. Sorry, Wallach.
Is Texas more important to you to you than familiar Rosati.
I just don't think this is how things should play out.
The way I see it, some things can only play out like this.
Texas is so popular, everyone loves her. Except for Leon Tuzo, because Leon Tuzo got his bestie, and oh no, there's multiple cars. I mean, no fear from the cars. Clearly no fears. Oh gosh, there's people walking. Stop walking when there's cars in the way. Don't do that. It's bad. Man. You know, it's fine though. It's fine overall. Yeah, totally fine. Oh gosh, they're running. Stop doing that. Come on. Okay. Why are you running that way now? You could have went to the exit. What are you doing? Why? But you know what's fine? I can just attack the mobsters from here in the distance. Come on, get out. Get. Why are you just standing there? Stop it. Stop it, sirs. Move. Oh, and now you're going that way, huh? Why you gotta be like this? Why are you standing there as he's shooting you? Stop it! Okay, now one finally leaves. Sheesh. I wanna bonk some of these dudes that we had to protect. If I didn't have to protect you, I would be bonking you myself. Ooh, this is bad. I mean, this is fine. I feel like for Sora and Giovanna, like their friendship is pretty cute, but at the same time, she's probably jealous at this point. And it's understandable if she'd be jealous. Uh-oh. This is potentially bad. I mean, no fear. What am I talking about? Never fear. 13, 14, and there. No fear, no fear, no fear. Oh gosh, there's so many of them. It's fine that there's a lot of the dudes here. We got this. If I can bring Chin out again, I gotta put her there. For sure. Sheesh. At this point, it's fine though. It's just the end. A little bit more dudes. There. Now there's that last one. Goodbye, sir. Ew. Texas! What? Miss Katerina, I mean, Giovanna, might be in danger. What did you say? I just called her and had a really uneasy feeling. Lapland. Yo. What do you want? I just wanted to give you an update on your old friend. She's somewhere near your little hideout, surrounded by wise guys from her own familia. Aw, Lapland really does care in her own way. Look at her, giving her a warning. Texas, we should go help her. I know. In just a sec. Are you seriously going? You were all ready to make an enemy out of the Rosatis to get out of here. But now you're going to stay in the swamp just for her? Think, Texas. This is your best chance to turn around and walk away from it all. Sora. You know, Texas? This was supposed to be a little job I picked up as a way to go looking for you. But I soon came to realize I'd fallen in love with Syracusa's performing arts scene. People here have a certain arrogance to them, but they're much better than the materialistic Lungmanite businessmen. And Apple Pie won't stop raving about how she's going to find the best pizza in Syracuse. As for Croissant, she's always been easygoing. I just wanted to catch up with you. Maybe we can go back to Lungman after everyone's had enough fun here.
We'll go back to Lungman eventually. The four of us together.
That's right, the four of us together. Well, actually, I just had a chat with Miss Giovanna and asked her to take a tour of Lungman with us, so that make 5.
Okay.
I'm not sure about the interlude yet. I gotta see how long this ending scene takes. A number of people have collapsed in the alley. A number of wounds have appeared across Giovanna's body. Everyone, including herself, knows there's no escape for her.
Give it up, Giovanna.
Got anything to drink, Wallach?
Go grab a bottle from the car.
Yes, sir. I've thought about it before. If we would have been better off getting into a certain business back in Colombia, originium weapons, designer drugs, military channels. I've also thought about if there were certain opportunities I should have seized. Getting on good terms with those officials, or even extending an olive branch to the Colombian government. But in the end, I decided that some things had to be done in moderation. We're too deeply invested, we're holding too much. I won't claim to be a good person, but at least we can't forget that there are some things we can't do. You could call it principle, or you could call it stubbornness.
Times have changed, Giovanna. A new era calls for new norms. That so-called morality and justice of the old guard should be cast aside. Even if we don't do it, someone eventually will. And when the time comes, we'll be the ones who get pushed out. Or you think sitting around, watching Colombia's other familiae get their mitts on these things is the right way to do it?
What would you do in my position, Wallach?
I'll control it all, new and old. Everything will be at my disposal. We're not taking the whole world back to the old ways. We're turning away from them. Got the booze, Wallach.
Come on, have one last drink with me.
Fine.
This one's my favorite. You've been waiting a long time for this, haven't you?
It was supposed to celebrate your return.
Huh? Well, how about that? From here on, you're Don Rosati.
Giovanna.
Do it. The sound of sharp metal slicing through flesh appears in the alley. It is quickly drowned out by the sound of the falling rain. No, they didn't make it in time! Texas knows she's already too late. The alley is scarred by the traces of battle, and blood spreads out across the ground. Her gaze goes to the source of the bloody water, where a familiar figure lies fallen. Her heart quivers. Giovanna! Aww. I liked her. Okay, we gotta bonk Wallach. We definitely have to bonk Wallach. Come on, Wallach.
We should be able to have a nice discussion here, Your Honor.
I won't become your accomplice.
Accomplice? That's a rather extreme choice of words. Shouldn't you be thanking me for saving your life? Forget it. Just treat it as an act of kindness on my part. The upside about you young folks is that you're go-getters. The downside is you tend to overdo it. There's nothing I particularly need you to do for me, actually. I just don't want to see an outstanding young woman like you fall.
You? Really?
I think the Karachi incident has given you some misconceptions about me.
No, I don't think it has.
I happen to care more about what's in front of me, that's all. The government is just a cloth draped over Grey Hall's round table. Lavinia, everyone in Syracuse knows of Signora Cecilia's lament. But I'd imagine there are few who understand the source of this lament. 30 years ago, there was a group of youths like you who naively believed they could free Syracuse from the Familiae. But there was no end to the dark clouds that hung over the country, and they couldn't conjure up any support. So they chose to try to win over a number of Familiae by catering to their interests, trying to fight the thing they thought they could resist. As for what happened to them, nobody knows.
Nobody knows?
Try to picture this scenario. Signorina Lavinia, your father's a clerk who works for the city government. One day, you get up, shower, and have breakfast as usual. That's when you realize your father forgot something at home, and your mother asks you to bring it to him. It's the rainy season, and you're in a bad mood because you had an argument with your father. But then you think to yourself, it's partially your fault, and it would be better to just apologize. But when you walk into the city hall, you feel an unnatural stillness. The place shouldn't be so quiet at this time of day. Soon, you see blood seeping from beneath the doors of the various offices, and that's when you realize that streaks of blood are painted all across the floor.
Rubio, are you speaking from personal experience? Is that what happened to you when you were younger?
You find that everyone in the city hall has gone missing. What scares you even more is that not a single soul will comment on it. No matter who you ask, even your own mother is completely silent. It's as if the disappeared never existed in the first place. After a while, people begin to appear at the city hall again, and a bit after that, the normal hustle and bustle returns. And you finally realize that's all there is to it. That's when Signora Cecilia's saying really starts to spread. The government is just a cloth draped over Grey Hall's round table, and naturally, the tablecloth can be changed at will. When you've lived through it, you'll understand. Anger. Of course the anger is there. But what happens after the anger passes? After anger comes nothing. Just as you are now, not knowing who you can even vent your grievance to. To Don Bernardo, to Familia Bellon, or to Signora Cecilia? No, of course not. They're all cogs in the existing machine, and you, as the gatekeeper to this machine, know better than anyone else. It can't be shaken.
And that's what you want to tell me? That all I can do is to cover my eyes and ears like you, pretending to be oblivious to everything that's going on. Pretending I'm living a semblance of what you could call a life.
Signorina Lavinia, you are even more naive than my daughter. And as someone who's experienced it all, my advice to you is the same as the last time you came to me. No matter what your ideals are, you must first live on. And if you're really in that much of a hurry to die, at least find a successor first. Sometimes, living to pass down your ideals can be even more difficult than dying a merciful death. Alright, I'll be taking up my new post in a few days, and Don Bernardo has arranged a speech for me to deliver to the whole city. There's nothing I need you to do for me, but if you'd like, you're welcome to keep my wife and daughter company. I do believe that isn't anything that would violate your principles.
I want to see Rubio's wife and daughter.
You're not going with the rest of your friends, my child.
I have a somewhat personal question I'd like to ask you.
Oh?
Please continue. I learned a few things about you back when I was in school. Back then, both you and His Holiness the Pope were seen as promising young talents. But after Signora Cecilia visited Laterano, you left with her. Didn't even hesitate.
Want to know why I left Laterano with Cecilia?
Not exactly. What I'd like to know is, you must get along very well with Signora Cecilia, right?
That depends on what you mean by get along. But if you mean that in terms of understanding, it may be the case that nobody understands her as well as I do. However, our personalities are actually quite incompatible. At least, these days, I'm happier hiding in this city to avoid the headache she brings me.
Isn't that also part of getting along with someone?
That I cannot deny.
Then how were you able to stay on good terms with her for decades? Senor... Senor Aguiner, I'm serious.
An excellent question indeed, my child. You certainly ask more interesting questions than your friend. But first, there's something I'm curious about. From the description you just gave me, you seem to get along very well with Texas.
That's right. We're the best partners out there.
You don't doubt your friendship at all.
Not even a little.
In that case, I see it now. The reason behind your question. Shared empathy allows you to treat people without reservation, but you still have doubts about the process of getting along with those who lack that empathy. Moreover, it is not deception that you fear, but this doubt itself. You are ashamed of this doubt when you are reciprocated with nothing but sincerity. But at the same time, you are afraid of how you will handle yourself in these doubts if these doubts prove to be true one day. Is that the case?
Yeah. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I think every Sancta who leaves Laterano will encounter this problem. When Cecilia came to visit Laterano, I was tasked with serving as her guide. However, I did not leave Laterano with her because I was persuaded by her ideals, as the rumors claim. Cecilia was still young at the time, and no matter how talented she was, it was impossible for her to instantly come up with a new way and with a way to change Syracusa after but a brief stay in Laterano. Her ideals were puerile and unrealistic, and they happened to resonate with some of my own thoughts at the time.
Do I see myself just sitting down talking with Aguiner just to pass the time? I don't know him well enough. I'd feel awkward talking to some random. Unless I think we vibe, then maybe. But with right now, not sure. I think I'd rather talk to Ben. I'd want to talk to Ben about pizza recommendations and play recommendations since he's a critic.
We discussed and argued our ideas day and night until finally, I decided to go with her to Syracusa to settle them.
Discussing and arguing?
Yes. Even after coming to Syracusa, we never settled the arguments between us. As a matter of fact, our views on Syracusa had never quite lined up. But this does not prevent us from understanding what the other is thinking.
So the key is discussing and arguing?
Haha, what do you think?
Wow, so Aguiner left with Lady Cecilia because they're best frenemies. I mean, that's a valid reason to follow someone, I guess. It's like you and I, we don't really get along too well, but at the same time we do. We vibe at the same time. I'm gonna follow you. I'm gonna leave my hometown because I like talking to you. We argue and it's fun. I don't think that's right. I don't think Texas and I ever had any serious discussions about anything. I'm not even sure when it happened, but we somehow became really good partners.
You're a perceptive one, my child. In the end, what kept me bound to Cecilia was not ideals, convenience, or even emotions, but time.
Time?
The passage of time will bridge most gaps and bind people together, regardless of what they think about it. You'll always be good partners, won't you?
Of course, always and forever.
Then, all you need to do is keep moving forward. You will experience many different things, as will she. Perhaps, your stories will individually have very little in common. But as long as you live your lives intertwined at some point, well, you have nothing to worry about.
Thanks, old man. Now I want to see how it was like back then when he first met Cecilia, and then how they became best frenemies, and then how they ran off together. Giovanna Rosati, the Colombian familia, needed to establish a foothold, and could have done all manner of things to accomplish that if she hadn't drawn her line in the sand. Oh, Giovanna, I liked you! I really liked you! And you know, since it didn't take too long to do that ending part, I'll do the interlude. Troublemaker. On a clear morning, the crisp clarion call of a pistol's muzzle reverberates across Fulcini through every radio. Boop. I gotta drink water though. Like overall, when it comes to reading character lines, the more difficult ones are like the dudes, especially the older dudes. It's like that, because there's a bunch of old men here. So water good. And I should make tea later. Tea soothes the throat. Oh my goodness though, Rubio's daughter is adorable. Oh, look at her. Oh, I like her little bag. Look at that cute little bag. Rubio, you have a super duper cute daughter. I hope nothing bad happens to her. We must protect Rubio's daughter. Oh, you really came, Judge Lavinia? You must be Secretario Rubio's daughter, yes? Yeah, I thought my father was just joking around. He said you'd come babysit me. My friends and I all adore you. Compared to people like my father, you're like the only clean person in the government. Do you not get along well with your father? Meh, so-so, I guess. I still like him as a person because he always makes time for me and plays with me a lot. But you know, I think people like him who only care about protecting themselves and not rocking the boat really should have bigger goals in life. Man, she's savage towards her dad. His old work friends who started out on the same level as him are way up there now. It took him this long to land a half-decent job, and he doesn't want to do anything more with it. Wow, and she's comparing her dad to his old colleagues. Usually it's the parents doing the other way, like, look at your classmate over there, look at them succeeding in life. Like, yeah, whatever. Whatever, dad or mom. But in this case, it's the daughter being savage. Dad, look at your classmate being awesome. Why can't you be like that, Dad? Dang. Rubio, I feel so bad for you. His old work friends? Yeah, one of them was Karachi, Ministro de Lavori Publici, who just died not too long ago. It's a dangerous job. I know, but I saw him on TV every day, and wise guys from all big familiae treated him really well. I don't know, I just think it doesn't make sense trying to be a politician if you can't make it to that level. That might be true. So that's why I was really surprised when my father suddenly decided to become the new Ministro de Lavori Publici. I'm not sure what finally made things click for him, but if he did it sooner, my mother probably wouldn't have divorced him. Rubio! I shouldn't. Like, dang, Rubio. Yo, I'm sorry for kind of like laughing at that, but that is just so savage. Wow. Rubio's wife left him because, like, husband, why can't you be as successful as your friends? I'm gonna divorce you. And the daughter's like, understandable, Mom. It's true, Dad's friends are so much cooler than him. Why can't Dad be as cool as them? Poor Rubio. Oh, Rubio. Rubio, my boy. Dang. Divorced? Yeah, she thought he was a good for nothing, so she left him a few years ago. Wow. Wow, dang, that is so savage. It's like, honey, what's the matter? Have I not treated you well? What's wrong? Rubio, I'm divorcing you because you're good for nothing. It's like, wow. Just, ouch, Rubio. But my mother has a temper, so I decided to stay with my father. Oh, by the way, you know how he got appointed ministro, right? Can you tell me more about it? Like, how how did Rubio and the mom even get together? Sheesh. I mean, in a way, it's good that she was honest with him, but at the same time, like, ouch, that is just... Rubio, your taste in women. Since apparently Mama had a temper too. Is that your type, Rubio? Rubio, I guess, wants very, very strong ladies. I'm imagining him going after, like, the dominatrix type, or maybe, like, one of those, like, super duper athletic tomboy types. He wants someone to boss him around, I guess. Sorry, I actually don't know anything. Aw, okay then. Anyway, you can sit anywhere you like. I'm not going anywhere today, but I do want to listen to my father's inaugural speech. Now silence. Secretary Rubio keeps his room tidier than I would have expected. You're surprised too, huh? He probably seems like he'd be a total slob, but he keeps things pretty organized. Alright, and he keeps a diary. Really? Yeah, let me think. Right, he keeps it over there. Does his daughter just read his diary? And now Lavinia's gonna read it too? Rubio, no one respects you here. He only writes in it when he feels like it. It's not an everyday thing. After years of jotting stuff down, he's still got all these blank pages. Does he not care if you snoop around his things? It's totally fine. He left it there because he doesn't mind people reading it. Sure. I flipped through it a few times, but it's all boring stuff. I'd call it like Chronicles of a Middle-Aged Man. Boring, it drags on and on. Wow. Poor Rubio even getting roasted about his diary. Rubio, my boy. You gotta get a W. As in a win. Look at him taking all these L's. You can take a look if you want. Poor Rubio. March 5th. I ran into Karachi at the restaurant. We had a drink for the first time in a long while. Reminiscing about old times, I couldn't help but get teary-eyed.
Signor Rubio, this is where you'll be giving your speech. Please leave me. But we've got orders to protect you. Nobody could get in here, right? Right, okay. Oomph. Power, huh? Now I'll barricade the door with the sofa. This is about as much as I can do. Okay. Well, Karachi, I won't keep you waiting much longer. See you soon.
Rubio, my boy, stay safe, come on. How's it looking? The doctor says the strike just missed her heart by a few centimeters, so she didn't die instantly. But she's still in really bad shape. She's still alive? Where's Texas? She's been in a stupor ever since she got back yesterday. She just sits there motionless, won't even respond when I ask if she wants to eat. Just give her some time. Krisana and I will guard the hospital, so please take care of her. No need to worry about me. You two look after yourselves. So bored. Alright, I heard there was supposed to be some speech today. Maybe I'll give it a listen.
Buongiorno, my dear friends and citizens. I imagine most of you don't know much about me, and I can't blame you for that. After all, I came held very minor and and unimportant role of Segretario di Sicurezza Alimentare before this. In fact, I believe that most of our dear citizens, apart from the late Ministro Karachi and the Honorable Judge Lavinia, know very little about our government. I do not know Judge Lavinia very well, but I do have somewhat of a history with the late Ministro Karachi. I believe it would be appropriate to begin my speech with him, a figure everyone should already be familiar with. Karachi and I both joined La Autorità Garante della Concorrenza e del Mercato around the same time. He was strong and energetic, taking care of the fieldwork while I handled the paperwork behind the scenes. He became known within the system for his bold words and actions, and he even dared to challenge prominent familiae. To be perfectly honest, it seemed like the guy was indomitable. He was almost taken out a few times by dissatisfied familiae, but managed to weather the storm or push through the situation. But at that time, the Autorita staff saw him as a pain, and nobody wanted to help him. So the job of reporting to him naturally fell to me, unpopular as I was. And let me tell you, the job took a whole lot out of me. But at the same time, it filled me with a sense of accomplishment. Though I could never be as direct and straightforward as him, I could do what I wanted to do through him vicariously, and that was a reward in itself. Throughout the process, the two of us became fairly well acquainted.
What kind of feeling do I have for what Rubio's doing right now? Since he barricaded the door, he's about to spill the tea.
Throughout this process, the two of us became fairly well acquainted. Leon, you were working with Karachi for the last 2 years, and I know you thought highly of him. Does this account match with what you knew of him? He certainly was energetic. He knew exactly how to deal with the familiae, and what went beyond just being tactful. He knew how to help them under the table, while also getting them to serve his interests. A lot of what he wanted to do would have been blocked by various familiae, but in his hands, he always managed to get things done step by step. I can tell you learned a lot from him. I just thought there were some similarities in the way I saw things and the way he operated. The days when problems can be solved with fighting and killing are over, Padre mio. If the familiae are going to survive, they have to adapt accordingly. You still don't understand, Leon. What do I not understand? You've subconsciously lumped yourself in with Lavinia and Karachi. But don't ever forget, you're not one of them. I know. If you really knew, you wouldn't be standing here. Unfortunately, you're out of time. Padre? Leon, if you get through this alive, it's what it is.
Leon got bonked.
Even though he was a thorn in the side of many familiae, his talents were evident to all. And so, he rose through the ranks long before I did. In fact, I thought he wouldn't last long after his promotion. I used to think that because he was never in a place where too many different interests overlapped, he wouldn't face any serious attempts on his life. If he kept behaving the same way he always did, as he rose through the ranks, sooner or later he was bound to step on toes that he could not afford to step on. I was wrong.
I never knew my father could be such a talkative person. What do you think, Judge Lavinia? Judge Lavinia? Lavinia seems completely oblivious to the calls of Rubio's daughter. She is engrossed in the words of the diary in her hands. May 3rd. Just resolved a small case, but it touched me deeply. There's a problem that everyone is unaware of, or should I say, is turning a blind eye to. Why, even in the age of Signora Cecilia, the Syracusa have two different sets of rules at once, one internal and one external. The brutality and greed of the familiae, have long been documented, but as brutal and greedy as they may be, they have chosen not to control things themselves. There's a reason for this. It's actually quite simple. Population. The institution of familia is based on bloodline or personal identity, and this inefficient organization means that the numbers in any given familia will never reach the order of magnitude required to manage even a nomadic city. This means they must rely on a system established by the common citizenry, and they can only seize control of a behemoth such as Syracusa by manipulating the system behind the scenes. Signora Cecilia was acutely aware of this fact, so after she rose to power, she drew an even more pronounced line between mafiosi and ordinary folk. And by emphasizing her absolute might and control, she, over the past few decades, has gotten everyone in Syracusa to believe that in Syracusa, the existence of two orders, internal and external, is taken for granted. To the extent that everyone was forced to forget how the establishment of Syracusa's underground order was only made possible by the consistency of the outward-facing order. This cannot be called anything other than a manifestation of political wisdom. Rubio, you...
In fact, in our system, there is no shortage of people with the same fundamental intentions as Karachi. However, for various reasons, they finally chose to submit to these familiae, even becoming their cronies. But Karachi was different. Not only did he not give in, he was always looking for ways to fight against them. And his efforts paid off. He did not die as easily as I thought he would, and he even managed to climb higher. And when we met again at the banquet, he said something I will never forget. The familia these days are weak.
This dude's pretty brave. Huh? Texas, there seems to be something happening outside. Let me go check it out. Exia. Huh? Do you think we could bring Giovanna back to Longmen? Why not? She seems fun. But it doesn't feel like that's what you think, right? Texas turned her eyes to the table by the window, upon which a necklace sits. It was a symbol of trust from Signora Cecilia, a gift that Giovanna left for her. In her grandfather's eyes, the Colombian familia had had soured. They do anything for the sake of profit, getting involved in the lowest businesses, committing murders with no morals at all. In her father's eyes, the Syracusan familia had decayed. Passing up profit and opportunity, not fighting for their interests, limiting their progress for the sake of supposed morality, all of it was the pinnacle of stupidity. In Texas's eyes, her father and grandfather were right and wrong. If she's only angry about what happened to Giovanna, then she could leave just like she did 7 years ago, only this time bringing Giovanna with her. However, when she got news of her grandfather's death, when she turned a blind eye to the car wash worker, when she turned her back to her father's orders to help, the only thought in her mind was, there's no end to it all.
He showed me how to deal with the familiae in a comically simple way. He offered them goods they couldn't refuse, benefits. It's not as if the familiae couldn't take what he had. But what they always lacked was a great manager. They only knew how to plunder, but never actually learned how to govern. Relying on his outstanding abilities, he gradually became a celebrity to several prominent familiae. And when they fought over who would fill the role of Ministro dei Lavori Pubblici, he became the candidate that everyone was happy with. Having said all this, I'm sure a lot of you will have questions. You might think Karachi sounds like a guy who played both sides, but what I'd like to say is, in a country like Syracusa, a country rooted in evil, It has never been possible for a good person to exist. To put it mildly, we are all evil.
Should he be saying stuff like that in an inaugural speech? October 15th. I met with that Judge Lavinia. From the way people talk about her, I imagine someone like Karachi, a righteous person who wasn't willing to throw away her integrity. Meeting her only confirmed that. There's no way she's unaware of the futility of what she's doing in her current landscape. There's no way she's unaware of the fact that should she ever cross any of the familia, her life would be in grave danger. The irony of it all is, the rights of ordinary people that she strives to protect as a judge mean nothing in the eyes of the familiae. They mean so little to them that she has not been snuffed out on her path forward. Talking to her was torture because I had to hold back my admiration for her and treat her like I would anyone else. Hirachi once joked that my position made him feel at ease because even if he died, he knew I would be there to pick up the torch. But what if I also died? It's not as if I haven't cultivated and won over a number of youths, but they've never had a leader with any real sway like Karachi. And undoubtedly, Judge Lavinia would make an ideal successor. Of course, I can't push my ideas onto her, but I'm afraid I don't have much time left either. There is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity in front of me. I don't have time to convey each and every one of my thoughts to her. I do believe, however, that if my plan goes well, Judge Lavinia will at least be willing to look after my daughter. Alas, Karachi, my old friend, let me put your death to good use. If our souls can meet once more, I'll have to apologize to you again. But a noble soul like yours probably won't end up in the same place as mine. Aww. Aww. He truly did love Karachi. I mean, Rubio had to take any chance he got, really. Ugh. I knew we should have relocated as soon as we could. But we're just gonna have to work with this, considering everything that happened yesterday.
Gah, that song is a pain in the ass. It's just one woman, surround her.
My trusty partner here is trying to relax, so mind keeping it down? Ugh, you guys sure love raising hell, don't you? Oh, if anyone else was here, they'd probably be like, But Apple Pie, you also love raising hell too. It sure sucks having to do this alone. What's this? Someone need a helping hand? Laplin was probably waiting in like the bushes. He's like, yes! Finally, it's my time to jump out and do a thing. I've been wondering, do you like have way too much time on your hands? I'm just like you. We're all waiting for an answer. What do you mean by that? Does it make a big difference to you whether or not Texas goes back to Lungmen? Absolutely. And as of right now, I want her to go back. Does that mean you're on our side? Sure does. Great, can't party alone.
Sorry. I shouldn't have said all that depressing stuff. However, it should be clear to everyone by now that I'm not here to give an inaugural speech. I came here to speak up from my heart. Karachi, as bold as his vision was, never mentioned anything to me about his outlook regarding the new city. The reason for that is, when he took up his position, he was already prepared to die. We've all borne witness to what he did over the past 2 years, and just when I thought he might make it long enough to see the birth of the new city, he suddenly died a few days ago. As for me, that was the last straw. So I cozied up to Familia Belon, recommended myself to them, and obtained this position. In that process, I discovered a shocking conspiracy that Belon and Saluso Familiae had been brewing. The very beginning, they plotted to plunge the city into chaos and seize the newly built nomadic city. Then they will seek to leverage it against Signora Cecilia.
Look at Rubio spilling the tea.
Don Alberto, this... Any news from Bernardo yet? No, Don Alberto. What is the meaning of this, Bernardo? Dan Brown. Dan Brown! I'm here. You're near Rubio's location, right? Yes. Whack that lunatic. Yes, Don Alberto.
No, come on! Rubio, my boy! Show that you are truly the master assassin.
Alright. I guess I can't keep you out if you really want to come in. You're an idiot. What's the point of all this? The way you're dressed, are you an ordinary worker? I work at a car wash. It's called Auto Lavagio Don Brown. Oh, that rings a bell. Yes. So you must be Don Brown then? That's me. Do you have any particular concerns about your job? No. Syracuse has gotten soggy and stale. I've had nothing to do, so I found some work for myself. That's a shame. You should have looked a little harder. You arrogant wise guys think you can lord over us forever. You think your only enemies are each other. You never take any of us seriously. But the times are changing. Nothing stays the same forever. No matter how nice your words may sound, they're just words. Can words overthrow the Familiae or Signora Cecilia? No, but I've taken this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity and said what I need to say. As for who will win between the Belons and Signora Cecilia, I don't know or care. All I know is, this new era has no room for the likes of you. If the next chapter of a Syracusan history is about to be written, the heroes of that story won't be the Familiae. We may have no power, we may indeed be weak, but we know that civilization rose to overcome this savagery. We pursue a form of equality, and order not rooted in violence.
I hope they didn't stop the broadcast. I hope they're hearing all this.
Violence is in our nature. Really now? Why then? Are all the Familiae moving in the same direction? Why are they chasing money and power instead of violence and conflict? Is killing me today just a cathartic release of this violence? Or is it because I got in the way of the people behind you taking power? See, you already know the answer. And if you don't mind, I'd like to be the one to finish myself off. Do you know what this is? A gun? That's right, I purchased it from Black Steel a few years ago through my connections. It's hard to use, and it's not very useful against a pack of wise guys lunging at you. All I can do is offer a little protection to one as weak as myself. By the looks of things, I already figured out who I should be pointing it at years ago.
Rubio slowly raises the gun's muzzle to his temple.
Oh right, Dan Brown. I hope that one day, you can just be a regular car wash worker in Syracuse, one who never has to hold a weapon ever again.
October 19th. How I yearn to unload everything on my chest in a speech, but I cannot. I have to convince them that I decided to take revenge on the Familia because of Karachi's death. Plus, there are some words that cannot be spoken yet. I'm not here to usher in a new era. I'm not arrogant enough to think that. I don't even know how many hearts my words will be able to reach. But I believe that as long as this country still has people like me, Karachi, and Lavinia, then there's still hope for Syracuse. So I will write that I want to say here. So I will write what I wanted to say here. Having said so much about Karachi, the reality is, as you may realize, I'm not here to talk about Karachi. I'm here to talk about myself and all of us, my dear citizens. We live in a cage called the familia. They may not always directly affect our lives, but they are always a part of it. Every ordinary person in Syracuse, over the course of our lives, will come to gain their own understanding of the familia in various ways, and eventually, they get used to it. However, I hope you can take a good look at the people around you and look back at your own life. There is one thing we should all understand. We are human beings. Our lives are very much real. We are not livestock in a pen. And above all, we are powerful. Our power comes from the very lives we have created. The lives the mafiosi relish, and were also created by our own hands. This is the country we've built, brick by brick. Judge Lavinia, am I dreaming? Why is my father talking with a hitman like that? No, father! He's in danger! Lavinia feels tears welling up in her eyes, but she does not have time to wipe them because she already has a premonition in her heart. She moves to Rubio's daughter and gently covers her ears. The inhabitants of Volsini will never forget this day. On a clear morning, the crisp clarion call of a pistol's muzzle reverberates across Volsini through every radio. Former Volsini Secretario de Sicurezza Alimentare Rubio died during his inaugural speech, taking over as Ministro de Lavori Pubblici. The chaos that ensued, though be subdued before half a day's time, in fact, became the first step toward a new era for Syracuse. Oh, Rubio. Rubio. I can't necessarily say that's a win for him, though. Oh, Rubio. I can't say that's an entire win. Especially after hearing his family life. Oh, his daughter. His daughter don't respect him. It's like, Dad is kind of lame compared to his friends, and his diary is lame too. And Mama is a bad temper, but yeah, she said he's a good for nothing. Like, oh, Rubio. So sad for him, though. I liked him. Man, though, Lavinia. At least she got to read the diary and learn the truth. And that'll probably motivate her a lot. It's still Rubio, my boy. Oh, sadness for Rubio. So, He got to say what he wanted. I'm glad they didn't cut the feed, because that would be even worse if they cut off the radio feed. I'm glad all the citizens got to hear that. Rubio and his epic speech. Go, Rubio, go. Good job, Rubio. You did well, my dude. It's not a total win, but you still did well. I believe in you, Rubio. But yeah, for the next stream, for sure I will finish the main storyline. For sure. I believe. But yeah, that's a pretty good cliffhanger though. But man, I do feel really bad for Rubio. Poor Rubio. Though he couldn't miss that opportunity. I understand that. He did well. Though, since, like, based on what Leon Tuzo says when we summon him, I can't wait to see the fall of the Belons. Also, I think it's hilarious how Lapland is just having fun. He's like, okay. Oh, there's some drama going on. Let me jump in. I will protect, or I will help Texas out. You know, that sounds good. That sounds entertaining. So go, Lapland, go. Oh man, getting through the end later on for the next stream will be fun. That's gonna be super fun. So for now, I gotta stretch a bit. Like walk around the house a few times. Since I was basically sitting down for the most part today, which is good yet bad because I feel the need to run around. I understand how little animals feels when they get the zoomies. I feel like doing that. I feel like just running around right now. I have the feels. So thank you for stopping by the stream. I hope everyone has a great rest of their day and epic gacha luck. I gotta do some stretching and a few walks. Like a few laps around the living room. I hope the windows are not open or else my neighbors are gonna be so confused. Or heck, my family's still awake probably, so they're gonna be confused too, but I gotta do it. I have the urge and I cannot resist. So see you guys later. Bye bye.